Wow. Okay. Lawlers, this is the Lux for Beginners Champion Guide. We're going to talk about everything you need to know to pick up one of the most OG ranged poke AP burst mages in the game and have some fun with those easy W's and one-shots in your own games. So we're going to cover off the runes, the build, and then some laning combos and abilities and how you might want to use those to trade and poke and lane, and then her all-in burst combo, which again is super simple. If you're a beginner, it's going to be a lot of fun for you to jump into the Rift and one-shot people pretty much in your first and second game with this champ. So let's quickly talk about the runes here. Because she's that ranged AP burst champ, you're going to want to run everything that's poke oriented. So it's going to be Arcane Comet, the Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, Gathering Storm, Presence of Mind, and Coup de Grace. Okay, that's going to give you everything you need for ability haste, poke, AP, mana regen, right? Like all the great things that Lux needs. In terms of build, starting build and items you're going to take into lane with you is going to be the Doran's Ring. Again, ability power, health, really good on any kind of AP mid, and then the health potion, so very standard start. Items you're going to want to rush with Lux. Your first rush item, the mythic, is going to be Luden's Tempest. 80 ability power, 6 magic penetration, 600 mana, and 20 ability haste. Like just perfect for her kit, so you're going to pick that one up first. Second item, you're rushing those Sork boots. You need that magic penetration as the game goes on. You don't really need any other boot in the game. This is going to be your boot of choice in pretty much 100% of your games. And then third core item to round out that kind of like 20-minute build. This is what you're looking to get hopefully by 20 minutes. Horizon Focus is the one. A huge amount of ability power, and the Hypershot passive synergizes so well with Lux's kit in terms of every one of her abilities and non-targeted ability, so it's really going to let you take advantage of the passive. That's your core right here. This is going to give you a really good base to start one-shotting people and taking over games. As you get more gold and you snowball even harder, you're going to look to finish out your 6-item build with Rabadon's Death Cap. We're going to have to add some more gold here. Rabadon's Death Cap. Oh, I gotta sell items. Never mind, sorry about that. Let's get rid of these bad boys. Okay, so Rabadon's Death Cap, the Cosmic Drive, and then last but not least the Void Staff. You just want to finish up with the Void Staff because that 40% magic penetration, that's going to be huge to rip through kind of anybody who's built one magic resist item, or if there's some tanks, whatever it is, it's just going to let you ignore that and basically deal some true damage. So with this setup here, by the time this 6-item build happens, you're going to be rocking about 700 ability power with 60 ability haste. You're going to be firing things off like rapid fire, your machine gun one-shots basically. So let's jump to lane now and talk about some of your basic ability trades and pokes and your all-in combo. So we got our bot set up here. I'm just going to quickly cover off 2 ways you might want to play Lux in lane. You're always going to max out your E as your basic ability, but there's 2 different ways you can start, and also almost 2 different ways you can play Lux in lane in terms of how you want to approach the matchup or the jungle matchup that they might have. So let's just say you start with Q. This is a very popular starting item. Again, we're going to max out the E, but if we start with Q, Light Binding is a skill shot. It fires out this binding, rooting light that can hit up to 2 enemies, the first 2 enemies, and deal some magic damage. So it stuns, it roots, it deals damage. Okay, so as you can see here, skill shot fires the ball light, stuns that person, deals some damage. Alright, the next ability that you're going to learn in lane is your E. Let's just level up a few here. Is your E, Lucent Singularity. This fires out a massive radius of light. It slows people that are in it. If you press E again, it pops it and deals damage and slows them one more time. The other cool part of E that a lot of beginners don't utilize is the fact that when you throw it, it actually grants you vision. So this is huge to make sure you don't get like face checked by somebody hiding in a bush. You can throw the E out at range, check to see if anybody's in there. Maybe if they are, pop the E and damage them, slow them, whatever you got to do. You can check Baron pits with it, Rift pits with it, see if people are in there, maybe try and steal the Rift or the Baron. So some really good outplay potential with the E, and it grants you a lot of vision. In lower elo games, I'd say vision is massively important. So try and make sure you not only use this ability for the damage, but also for, in key situations, the vision. Now, like we talked about with the Q, how it can hit multiple targets, the E can also hit multiple targets. So Lux is really good into kind of skirmish or team fight situations where maybe you have a champ in front of you that can frontline, or somebody else who's going to be the engage, because you could stun 2 targets, and then you could potentially E all 3 of them. The damage hits everybody, so really, really powerful for kind of those mid-game team fights. Lux is really good at that, and doing it at a safe range. You can see, if we just test how far we can hit somebody with our Q, we can stun 2 people from this far. We can also throw our E out and damage them from this far, right? So very, very safe. I think even if we move back a little bit farther, we can still probably clip somebody with a Q. Right? Like, that's insane. The fact that you can hit somebody with a Q and then your E from that range as well, like, it's disgusting. So that's the main aspects of Lux's poke and range before you get to level 6. What I mean by the 2 different ways you can play Lux in lane is you can either fish with Qs. So as you level up your abilities, you're only going to keep 1 point in Q, but you can fish with it, right? So like you can keep throwing them and see if you catch somebody, and then once you catch them, throw your E out and deal more damage, right? Because when they're stunned from your Q, it's a lot easier to land your E. This is similar to the Nico video that we did for beginners, where you want to fish with Nico stun. So that's a very similar playstyle. The other thing you could do with Lux, because she doesn't really have a dash or an escape, what you could do is fish with your E's instead and save your Q in case you were going to get ganked from the river potentially to stun or create a disengage. You know, alternatively, if you were playing against a champ in mid who had an engage and you were scared they were going to jump onto you, you could hold your Q at all times just to create a disengage. So you could just fish with your E. If they jump out of there and they try and get onto you and they get close, you can throw your Q and start to back up and basically stun them and keep them there. Okay, so 2 different play styles. Let's call one like the fishing aggressive. You're looking to poke really, really hard. That's, you're going to be fishing with Qs nonstop and throwing out E's. The other version is like safe. You're just, you know, looking to be annoying mosquito until you get to level 6 and start to one-shot people. You're just going to be throwing out your E's, and then you're saving your Q for disengage. The other ability that you have at your disposal here is a barrier. It's essentially a shield on a boomerang. You throw it out, it shields you and any enemy, or sorry, any allies that are in its path on the way out and the return. So if you had a couple, again, allies here, there was a skirmish, let's say in mid lane, you could throw out your W and heal, or sorry, barrier, and give a shield to those allied champs. Then you could just hang back here and throw out your Qs and your Es and deal, you know, insane amounts of damage as well. Okay, so that's the basics of Lux's kit. We'll cover this off in a really quick practice game against the bot, just so you guys can see some of the trading combos. But if we clear all these dummies out and just talk about leveling up to level 6, let's get our abilities up here. So again, you're maxing out that E as your first basic ability. You want to put as many points into this as you can because it's kind of the bread and butter of your damage and your AoE damage and wave clear and all that good stuff. So you're maxing that out. Okay, level 6, you finally get to pick up the final spark. It's Lux's ultimate. She shoots a laser beam essentially halfway across the map that deals massive chunk of damage. So if you just take a quick look at my mini map down here, you'll see that big blue circle is the radius that this can hit. So even if there was a champ that was all the way under their tower over here, did it spawn? Let's see. Yeah, it did. Boom, you can hit them, right? Like from your tower to their tower, you could deal 500 damage essentially. So it's a really cool ability to try and snipe and one-shot people from all over the place. You can play super safe, basically never even decide to get into the range that enemies can damage you, but still deal huge chunks of damage to them. So really, really powerful if you play her in that way and you utilize the range of her kit. If I spawn another dummy just kind of in the middle of the lane here, I just want to show you guys at what range you could potentially catch people and burst them out. So we could catch people with our Q from like, I don't know why Lux moved there. Let's see. From here, no problem. Let's back up a bit. From here, still caught him, right? Like, this is disgusting. You can stun somebody and deal damage from this range, potentially even 2 people. And then if you use the full circle of your E and you just throw it to here, you can damage them as well. So that means from this distance, you can use your basic one-shot combo, which is Q, E, pop the E plus R. So you're going to go Q, E, R, and then pop the E again. That's going to deal 700 and 800 damage with just a Doran's ring, okay? So, right, like Q, E, R, pop the E, boom, one-shots. Okay, so that's the all-in combo there. Q, E, R, pop, make sure you pop the E. The last thing I'll mention with Lux, and this is what separates kind of novice Lux players from the really good Lux players, is the passive, Illumination. So Lux's damaging abilities give a mark on a champion, and then every time you auto attack a marked champion, you pop that mark and deal more damage. Essentially all it means is after each damaging ability, you have a chance for an empowered auto attack with Lux, and you're going to see that by this little halo that's going to show up on the forehead of the enemy champion. So right now you can see my auto attack deals 67 damage, right? There's no halo on them. If I land a Q that's a damaging ability, there's a little halo on that person now. When I auto attack them, my auto attack dealt a lot more damage now, right? So the really good Lux players will weave in an auto attack after each damaging ability. So Q, auto, E, pop the E, auto again. That's like a really good way to get maximum damage from your combos even before level 6. Level 6, you probably don't need to weave in the autos. You just want to land the Q, E, R combo. That's going to be enough. You don't need to go any closer. Okay, so let's practice all this stuff against the bot in lane so you guys can see how that works out. Minions are inbound. We're going to get ready to start to poke this champ out. The general mindset you want to take into the lane phase when you pick up Lux is stay safe, poke at distance. Okay, very, very simple mindset. Stay safe, poke at distance. Don't put yourself in any undue harm's way by getting too close to the champion or getting too close to the minions and opening yourself up for trades or ganks. Okay, so here, just to show you that, you know, we're going to let this Tristana push. You're focusing on grabbing some of these last hits if you can. Try and get the hang of Lux's auto attack speed and the damage that they deal, just to make sure you grab those last hits. But in terms of poke at safe range, you're looking to use your Q to do that and then land an auto attack on them to proc your passive mark. Once that happens, you back the hell up and you wait till these abilities come off cooldown. Maybe you're just last hitting to grab some autos. Once they come off cooldown, you fish again with your Q, land the hit, proc your passive, and then back up. Alright, level 1, even if you land a Q, there's nothing else for you to do after you land that first Q and proc your passive, so just chill out and wait, okay? Land your Q, hit your passive, let your Arcane Comet hit them, deal some damage, okay? Now, level 2, you're going to pick up your E, that loosens Singularity. This is going to help you deal some poke damage at range, right? So you could wait till you land your Q to grab that. You could fire your Q out, auto attack E, you pop that, land your auto attack on that, and you can see that basically almost chunked out that Tristana the full health. The key to doing that is landing each of those autos in as you're getting your passive marks on them, okay? Again, this is something that you're going to get the hang of more and more as you play Lux, but try and get those auto attacks in between each damaging ability to maximize your damage. If a champ leaves lane because you poked them out, and that's going to happen a lot, use your E on the wave. Your passive also works on minions, so make sure you proc that off on minions and try and grab and push last hits and your minions into tower really, really fast so that they miss all these minions. Okay, now when she comes back, we have our level 3 and our level 4, so we're maxing out that E as our first basic ability. Our poke's just going to get harder and harder, and we can add in our W to kind of reduce any damage you might take from a Tristana trade. Okay, so again, our Q goes through 2 units. Sometimes you're going to get caught like that where it's going to hit 2 units that you didn't intend. That's fine, you're going to get the hang of Lux, but see how I used my W as I ran away from Tristana here? You want to make sure you use your W to mitigate any damage you're going to take. If they open up on you, you're going to Q, auto E, auto again, and then just keep the trade going. If I wanted to follow, I could throw my W out to make sure I don't take any more damage than I need to. Alright, now that's basically Lux pre-level 6. You're going to try and fish with your Qs. If you hit them, you're going to follow up with the E and try and deal more damage. Again, like we mentioned earlier in this video, if you wanted to save your Q for pure disengage or to stop ganks because you're getting focused a lot in your lane and they're camping you, just fish with your E at distance like this. Okay, just fish. It still slows them. You can walk up and get one auto off and then walk away. Right? So you can either fish with a Q or fish with the E. They're slightly different play styles. One obviously doesn't deal as much damage as the other because with the Q fish you're going to be able to, you know, stack up like 2 autos and 2 abilities. The E though, you can basically fish completely safe at range. So if you get something like a Zed or a Talon where stepping up into your Q range might actually leave you to die, you can just do it with your E non-stop in lane and still get some good chunks of damage off, especially as you put more abilities into it. So you could just fish with your E like we're doing here, follow up with an auto attack, and you can almost kill them after a few E's. Okay, that's basic pre-level 6 laning. Now, in terms of recalling, again, if you poke them out like that in lane, you want to try and shove all the minions into tower before you recall so that they miss all the gold and you get all the gold. Okay, so try and use your passive procs on the minions like this. Grab all those last hits and then go back to base. We're not going to have enough gold in this case here. A perfect amount of gold for your first back would be enough to buy the major component of your Luden's Tempest, which is the Lost Chapter. If you can't buy it because you don't have 1300 gold, that's fine. Just get the blasting wand, maybe pick up a couple extra potions if you want to, right? Or just save some of that gold so that when you go back next time you can get a pair of boots or something. Like, you know, you guys will figure it out obviously, but you want to try and at least have enough of that blasting wand or the Lost Chapter on your first back. Those are the two big components you're looking to try and buy. Okay, we're rushing that Luden's Tempest, do they call it now? Luden's Tempest since the update, right? So we're going back to lane. Strategy is going to be the same thing here. We're going to fish with Qs and Es to try and poke this Tristana out and try and weave in autos where we can. Okay, you can use that E to grab some last hits and also kind of thin out waves. When you're fishing with that Q, make sure you try and fish when there's only one minion in front of the enemy champ. Use your W. We didn't even use our W that time, but use your W to mitigate any trade back. Okay, so now that we're level 6, we can talk about that all-in burst combo, and that combo is QER. Okay, so we're going to try and land a Q on her. If we get her stunned, we're going to throw out E and R instantly on her. So Q, ER, pop the E, that's it, they're gone, right? Even if she was at more than half health, that would have been enough to kill her. This is a very obnoxious all-in. We did it at pretty close range there, but to be honest, we could have done it from half a lane away. It's just all about making sure you land that Q through only one minion, and then landing it onto them. And if there's no minions in front of them because they're not playing safe, you can just land it onto them directly. That's essentially Lux, guys. You're going to do this all the time, non-stop. In team fights, you're looking to do the exact same thing. It doesn't really change in terms of team fights. You can see here I'm just using my E to get a passive proc on all the minions, and then using that passive proc to secure all the last hits. If she wants to step up, we can use our W, our E, weaving those autos, right? We have barrier and flash to be really aggressive if we want to as well. And then when you have them under tower like this, just keep throwing out your E's and poking them, right? Like, we can poke them from behind their tower without even taking autos from the tower. So if you are in a situation where you have the lane pushed up, right, I would recommend just save your Q at this point for disengages if a gank comes, and just keep throwing out your E's to wherever they are to hit the minions, hit them. Don't even worry about, you know, getting your passive proc off with an auto because you don't want to take turret damage. Just keep throwing E's at them, like, from just outside of turret range. Alright? Guys, that's essentially it for Lux, so hopefully you enjoyed the guide. Hopefully you have some great success one-shotting people from across the map. A last tip I'll leave you with is that R's cooldown is very short as you level up. Don't be afraid just to use it to fire off, to try and, you know, clear out minion waves like this and keeps waves pushing, or to just snipe people from across the map if I really wanted to. You know, Lux isn't really a roaming champ. I wouldn't recommend roaming into the fog of war with her, because if a jungler's waiting for you, they're going to burst you pretty hard. But you can see with the R range here, probably by the time you get to the dragon pit, like, line area or the rift, you can start to R people that are in lane if they were low. So if I really had enough cooldowns and some damage, I could probably even just kill this Soraka with an R like this if I hit her. Okay, so have fun, guys. Let me know if you have some success sniping people out with Lux, and I'll catch you in the next one.